In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to basically follow along with these directions and make all of the necessary selections to move all these objects. So we're just going to start at the top. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and open this file. You'll find it in Google Classroom, and it's with the directions. Once you get started, this is how I prefer to work. It's something I would recommend all of you doing, setting up so you have one thing, you have what you're working on one side, and you have the directions on the opposite side. That way it's easy to follow along. Okay, so you're going to be learning selection tools today. The first one is going to be the magic wand tool. So if this is my tool palette right here, the magic wand is 4 down. Okay, but it's hidden behind this one right now on my screen. So yours could be different. To find that, all I simply did is I clicked and I held my mouse down and it popped up this extended menu. So I'm going to go to the wand. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make my first selection, and I want to select this number 5 here. Now, in order for it to not to select everything here, I want to kind of isolate it so that it selects similar tones. So I'm going to go up here. This is what's called my option bar, and it's tool specific. So depending on the tool I'm on, that option bar will change as I go. Okay, so again, this is for the wand. This is what it looks like. I'm going to change my tolerance to 70. Okay, once I've done that, what I want to select is this number 5. So I'm going to click right there on the number 5, and it grabbed most of it, but it did miss just a couple of little things right in here and then down in here a little bit. So what I can do to add that to the selection is I press and hold the shift key on my keyboard, and I basically go around and I just click in those areas until it grabs all of that. And right now it looks pretty good. Okay, so at this point I want to move this number 5, and I'm just going to move it out of this space. So the move tool is here, and I'm just going to, you'll see that there's a pair of scissors now attached with the move tool because I'm basically cutting that out. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm simply moving it to a new location. Okay. Once I've done that, I do need to deselect this, because as long as you have these marching ants around the number 5, everything you do is pretty much isolated to what is within that selection. So to deselect that, I'm going to press Control and D, and then you'll see that those marching ants goes away. Okay, so I'm just working through this. So now I'm going to be down here. So using the magic wand with other selection tools. So the first tool that I need is the rectangular marquee tool. So to find that, go ahead and click here. If you have any of these selected, again, just click and hold and you will find what you need there. Okay, I'm going to make a selection around this water lily here. So I'm just going to drag a box. So right now, what is selected is all the white space around the water lily. So what I want to do is I want to make it so it's just the water lily. Now, with it being on against a white background, right, like this, it makes it very simple. So that was my first part of my selection. My second part is going to be to use the wand tool. And on this, I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit more sensitive, so it won't grab quite so many pixels, especially since you have these white leaves against this white background. So to do that, I'm going to change the tolerance lower to about 32. And then I'm going to press the Alt key, and I'm going to click. See how you'll see that minus sign next to the wand, and I'm just going to click inside of the white area. I'm not going to touch the water lily, but I'm going to click here. And what that's going to do is it's going to subtract the white from the water lily. Okay, so that's a nice, easy way of cutting something out that is against a white background. Okay, again, to deselect, Control and the letter D, and I'm just going to continue to move through this. It says here to zoom in to 100%. I'm zoomed into about 150 because it makes it easier for me, so you are welcome to change this and do whatever you would like. So if you want to zoom into 100, you may. Like I said, I prefer 150, so that is up to you. Okay, select the elliptical marquee tool. It's underneath the rectangular marquee. So again, I'm going to go here and I'm going to find the elliptical marquee. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this right here. Okay. So I'm going to start right about. I'm going to put my mouse right about here, kind of level with the top of this the top of this oval, okay? And I'm gonna click and I'm gonna drag down and diagonal. And I'm gonna try to grab it. And this was actually really close, but like, let's just say I'm kind of off a little bit, okay? What I would do is I would press the space bar, and I'm holding the space bar down, but it lets me move this, okay? So I can kind of get it a little bit closer, okay? So I kind of want to start more to the left and then bring it to the right. And I'm going to continue to do that until I feel like I have it all. So what I'm doing with my left hand is I'm constantly grabbing the space, or clicking on the space bar and releasing it, clicking it, pressing it down when I want to move it, and then releasing it when I want to kind of lock it down. Okay, so this looks pretty good, so I'm going to let it go, and then I have this selection right here. And again, I'm just going to move this, so I'm going to use my move tool, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it over here. Okay. Again, when I am satisfied with this and I'm not going to want to move it a second time, I'm just going to deselect this. So again, Control and the letter D will allow you to deselect this. Okay, selecting from a center point. So for this, I'm going to be working on this globe down here. I am going to zoom in just a bit more. So for those of you that like shortcuts, I just pressed Control and plus. Now I'm all the way over here, and yes, you could use this this slider right here to make it easy, but if I press the space bar when I'm pretty much on any tool, it turns into a hand, and I can move this as if it were a piece of paper that I'm just kind of sliding around. Okay, so I'm going to be making a selection of this globe here. So I'm going to again use this elliptical marquee tool. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it from a center point, meaning I'm just going to put my, my mouse right there in the center. Okay, now if I press the Alt key while I'm dragging, okay, so instead of starting here and dragging down, I'm going to start here, and it's going to basically make the selection from the inside out. Okay. Now, in addition to this, so if you can see it, I know it's kind of difficult to see, I'm going to start trying to use multiple fingers. And so if I have one finger holding the Alt key down and I'm not moving it, if I use another finger to hold down the space bar, I can move it around a little bit to make sure if I didn't start in the exact right location. If you want to grab just the globe, that's great. If you want to grab all the rings around it, that's great too. Whatever you want to do. Okay. Okay, I'm going to say that's good enough. Always let go of your mouse before you let go of whatever key you're holding on the keyboard. Okay, otherwise it will it'll do something kind of funky, so just don't do that. Then what I'm going to do is, let's see, I am going to zoom back out. So Control minus will allow you to zoom back out. Again, pressing the space bar on any tool will allow you to kind of move things around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert the colors here. So to do that, I go to Image, which is way over here, Adjustments, and then down to Invert. And what it did is it basically changed the colors of whatever was inside of that selection, okay, that marquee that we just created. Then I'm just going to use my move tool here, and I am going to move that out. And then something for, maybe you want to duplicate this, okay? To do that, if you hold the Alt key down, right, you'll get a double arrow right here. And if you put your, if it comes outside of it, it's not going to do it too well. So just come here, and then it'll basically duplicate that. Now, what if I wanted to make this a different size? I can go up to Edit, Transform, and then to Scale, and it adds this bounding box around it. And if I hold Shift while doing it, I can kind of adjust the size of that. Okay, I'm going to press this check mark when I'm satisfied with it. And I might even want to make a second duplicate of that, and then maybe even again scale that last one even larger. Okay, so then now I have 3 globes here, and they're all different sizes. Okay, so when I have that, I'm just going to deselect it when I'm done. So again, Control D to deselect. And I'm just scrolling through my directions over here so you know where I'm at, but I'm down here where it says selecting with the lasso tool. The lasso tool is this one right here. Now this is a free-form lasso tool, which basically means you need to be super careful with how you're drawing, because everything you do will basically so I could do whatever I wanted to do. Okay. Okay, so to do this, I am going to, the certain parts are very important. You'll notice that I wrote do not release the mouse button quite a few times in here. I'm going to start on this end because this is more free form. Okay, over in this general area, I can use more of an angled lasso. You'll see in just a second what I'm going to be doing. So if I click around here, and again, I'm being super careful, as careful as I can anyway. And then I get to about this point, and if I press and hold the Alt key down again, I'm not going to let it go. I am going to let go of the mouse at this point, though. And what it's going to do is it changes the cursor, the type of lasso that I'm using to a polygonal lasso tool. And what that basically means is now I get to plot points. So you'll see that it's all straight lines. So if I just kind of click, 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 right? It's that type of a selection now. So whether you like it or not, you're getting experience testing out all these different lassos. Okay, and when you get to the end there, you make your final click. What you need to do is, at the very end, is you let go of the Alt key, and basically what will happen is your selection will be there for you, so you'll see all these marching ants basically around there, or excuse me, our selection. And then what I'm going to do is I just want to move it. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to basically cut it out there. And if I wanted to try to rotate this, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here, Control minus. But if I wanted to rotate this, I can, and I can do that by going up to Edit, Transform, and then down to Rotate. Okay, and if you notice, my mouse looks like a curved arrow, right? So I can kind of shift that in any which way I want. Okay, and then again, when I'm satisfied with it, I'll just hit that check mark, and I will press Control D to deselect it. Okay, so we are on the last one here, selecting with the magnetic lasso. And to do that, I'm going to be using this down here, and so I should probably zoom in quite a bit. Control plus, using my space bar to move, bring that right up there. On this one, I'm going to use a different type of lasso. I'm going to be using the magnetic lasso tool. A lot of people like this because it's very simple, but basically you find a place to start, and you just very carefully go around this lock, and the computer kind of looks at the object and just kind of starts plotting points. So your job is just to kind of go slow and go around the object while the computer does all the work for you. Is it perfect? Nope. But it's easy. And then when you get to the end, you'll notice that there's like a little circle kind of like on the icon. So at that point, you just click, and then basically you have your selection there, okay? So again, I'm going to zoom out, Control minus. I'm going to use my Move tool, and I am going to cut that out, move that wherever I feel like it should go. That looks like a good place. And when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. So I'm just going to hit Control and D, okay? Last but not least, I do want you guys to crop all this stuff out. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my crop tool here. I'm going to make sure there are no numbers in here. And basically that keeps it as a free form crop, so I can do whatever I want with this. All right, I'm making it all nice and clean so I get rid of all the garbage on the side. Hit that check mark. You will save this, so we'll go to File, and again, yours will look different than mine, but File, Save As. Make sure you save as format. Make sure you go down to JPEG, okay? Selection tools. I would like you guys to start getting used to saving things as this. So you have it here, you have selection tools. That's the name of the assignment. But then after that, if you could start getting used to putting an underscore there, and then maybe putting your name in there, so that way you don't lose your files. Okay, and save it wherever you're going to find it. That's the best thing I can tell you. Save it where you're going to find it. Press save, and then it should be there for you. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. Please let me know if anybody has any questions.